Hey, coin hunters! Have you ever found a penny in your pocket and thought, just another penny? Well, hold on. Because today, we're talking about a 1979 D Lincoln penny that could make you rich, like, quit your job and buy a tiny island rich. Yep, you heard that right. A single 1979 D penny recently sold for a whopping $1.1 million. And the best part? There might be more out there, just waiting to be discovered. So grab your loose change, check between your couch cushions, and stick around because I'm about to break down why this coin is so valuable, what to look for, and how you can cash in on rare pennies hiding in plain sight. And if you think checking your spare change is pointless, let me tell you about the time I almost spent a rare coin on a bag of chips. True story. We'll get into that later. Let's dive in. Alright, so what makes the 1979 D Lincoln penny worth more than $1 million? Let's break it down. First off, the D on this penny stands for the Denver Mint, which produced millions of these pennies. But not all 1979 D pennies are special. It's the rare mint errors and unique features that make some of them insanely valuable. Doubled die errors. This is when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, creating a slightly blurry or doubled effect. If you've got a 1979 D with clear doubling on Lincoln's face or the lettering, you're in luck. Another rare error? Off-center strikes. Imagine a penny where Lincoln's face is awkwardly cut off on the side, like a bad school photo. Collectors love these mistakes, and they pay big money for them. The $1 million 1979 D penny wasn't just any ordinary coin. It had a rare die error and was in nearly perfect condition. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A coin graded MS67 or higher, which basically means it looks brand new, can skyrocket in value. The $1.1 million penny was practically flawless, like it had been hiding in a time capsule since 1979. If you find a shiny 1979 D penny, don't just toss it in a jar. Check it carefully, inspect the condition. The shinier and more flawless, the better. Coins in mint condition are worth way more than worn-out ones. Some pennies were mistakenly made with leftover copper planchets instead of zinc, making them heavier. A 1979 D copper penny instead of zinc could be worth a fortune. A few years ago, I found a 1979 D penny in a cup holder in my car. It looked different, shinier than the rest. But instead of checking it, I grabbed some spare change and used it to buy snacks. Fast forward a few days, and I learned that 1979 D pennies with errors could be worth thousands. I panicked and ran back to the store, digging through the take-a-penny tray like a maniac. Sadly, it was gone. Could I have spent a fortune on a bag of chips? Maybe. Lesson learned: always check your coins before spending them. If you have any 1979 D pennies lying around, start checking. You never know, you might have a small fortune hiding in your change jar. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on rare coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I drop videos every week, showing you how to spot valuable coins and make smart collecting moves. And if you've ever found a rare coin or think you might have one, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we talk about coins that could secretly make you a millionaire. No, seriously. You might have one sitting in your piggy bank right now, and you wouldn't even know it. Today, we're diving into the story of a 1993 D Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right, one single penny, more valuable than a luxury sports car, a house, or even your college tuition, depending on how many snacks you bought during finals week. Now, before you go dumping out your entire coin jar onto the floor, stick with me. We're going to break down exactly why this penny is worth so much, how you can check if you have one, and what to do if you hit the jackpot. And I'll even share a little personal story about how I almost threw away a coin that was worth some serious cash. So, grab your magnifying glass, maybe a snack, and let's get into it. At first glance, this penny looks like every other Lincoln cent you've probably ignored your whole life. It has Abraham Lincoln's face on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that small D mint mark under the date, meaning it was made in Denver. Here's where it gets interesting. Some 1993 D pennies were accidentally struck on a bronze planchet, which was supposed to be discontinued after 1982. Instead of using the standard zinc-coated planchet, the US Mint mistakenly used older bronze blanks, making these coins super rare. Well, only a handful have ever been discovered, and collectors go nuts for them. In fact, one of these error pennies sold for $1.2 million at auction, someone probably spent that same penny on a pack of gum back in the 90s. Painful, right? How to see if you have one of these $1,000,000 pennies? Make sure your penny has a 1993 date with a D mint mark underneath. If you don't see the D, don't panic, some no mint mark 1993 pennies are also valuable. Regular 1993 pennies weigh about 2.5 grams since they're made of zinc with a thin copper coating. But the valuable error pennies weigh 3.1 grams because they're bronze. You can use a cheap digital scale to check this. Okay, this one's kind of fun. If you drop a regular penny on a table, it makes a dull clink sound. But a bronze penny? It has a more ringing, bell-like tone. Try it out, you'll feel like a real treasure hunter. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my car, and I found an old, dirty penny under the seat. I was this close to tossing it, but something told me to check it first. I grabbed my phone, Googled the date, and boom, it turned out to be a 1972 double-die penny worth over $1,500. Okay, so it wasn't a $1,000,000 find, but still I almost threw away a small fortune. Since then, I check every single penny I come across. You better believe my friends think I'm crazy, but hey, crazy pays, so if you ever find yourself about to toss a penny, stop and check it first. It might just be your ticket to early retirement. Seriously, collectors prefer coins in their natural state. Scrubbing it can ruin the value. Send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its authenticity. The best way to sell rare coins is through professional coin auctions. These places have serious buyers willing to pay top dollar. Some were struck on bronze planchets instead of zinc, making them ultra rare. Always check your pennies. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Now, here's what I want you to do. Go check your coin jar, your car, your couch cushions, anywhere you might have old pennies. And if you find something interesting, let me know in the comments. And hey, if you love learning about valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a future video. We've got more crazy coin finds, collector tips, and strategies to help you cash in on hidden treasures. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we talk about coins that could change your life, literally. Today, we're diving into a simple, everyday penny that most people overlook but could be worth a whopping $1.3 million. Yep, you heard that right, one tiny, unassuming 1969 D Lincoln penny could make you a millionaire. It's just a penny. How can it be worth more than my car? Well, grab a snack, get comfy, and stick around because I'm going to break it all down for you in a way that makes sense. Get it? Sense? No? Alright, let's move on. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1969 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, which is why you'll see that tiny D mint mark right below the year. But not all 1969 D pennies are valuable, only a rare few have an unusual error that makes them worth a fortune. The key thing to look for is a doubling effect on the obverse, front, of the coin, especially on Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust. This is known as a double die obverse error, and it's what turns a regular penny into a $1.3 million jackpot. Now, let me tell you how I almost missed one of these rare pennies in my own collection. A few years back, I was going through a jar of coins I had been tossing spare change into for years. I wasn't expecting much, just some old pocket change. But then, I saw a 1969 D penny that looked a little off. The letters seemed bolder, almost like they were slightly stacked on top of each other. I thought, maybe it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. But after a little research, I realized I was holding something potentially valuable. And now, before you start flipping your couch cushions looking for loose change, let me tell you why this penny is worth so much. It all comes down to a combination of rarity and high demand among collectors. First off, the 1969 D double die penny is extremely rare. Unlike some other error coins, only a handful of these have ever been found. The US Mint actually caught the mistake early and destroyed most of them, making the surviving ones incredibly scarce. And you know what happens when something is rare? Collectors go absolutely crazy for it. In 2019, one of these pennies sold at auction for $1.3 million. Just imagine that you could walk into a store with this penny, buy a pack of gum, and the cashier wouldn't even blink. Meanwhile, you just handed over $1 million coin for a 99-cent pack of gum. Not if there's no D, it's not the one we're talking about. Use a magnifying glass or even your phone's camera zoom to look closely at the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust. If they look slightly doubled, you might have something special. There are plenty of pictures online that show the Real double die version. Make sure yours matches. If you think you've got a winner, take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can confirm if it's legit and give it an official grade, which affects its value. Alright, folks, that's the story of the 1969 D Lincoln penny worth $1.3 million. Who would have thought that something so small could be such a big deal? So before you go spending your spare change on coffee, take a second to check your pennies. You might just be holding a fortune in your hand. If you found this video helpful, or just enjoyed my terrible jokes, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos about rare and valuable coins. And hey, if you've ever found a cool or valuable coin, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Hey, coin lovers! What if I told you that a simple penny, yes, a 2017 D Lincoln penny, could be worth a life-changing $1.4 million? Sounds crazy, right? But trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be rating your coin jar, flipping over couch cushions, and checking every penny you get from the grocery store. Today, we're diving into the story of this $1 million coin, why it's worth so much, and how you might have one sitting in your pocket right now. Plus, I'll share a personal experience about how I almost threw away a valuable coin. True story, and you do not want to make the same mistake. So stick around, because this could be the best 40 minutes you ever spend. Let's go. Alright, let's break this down. The 2017 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark under the date. Now, you're probably wondering, what makes this particular penny worth $1.4 million? After all, the US Mint pumped out billions of pennies that year. Well, here's the catch. This rare 2017 D penny has a minting error, something that happened during production that made it one of a kind. We're talking about a double die obverse, DDO, off-center strikes, or even transitional errors. Some of these errors can be so subtle that the average person never notices, but collectors? Oh, they'll pay big money for the right mistake. I once found an old, worn-out penny in my car cup holder. It looked totally normal. Almost tossed it, but a gut feeling told me to check it under better light. Turns out, it was an older penny with a slight doubling error, and while it wasn't a $1 million find, it was worth a solid $500. Moral of the story? Always check your coins. Now back to the 2017 D penny. The most valuable one ever sold at auction for $1.4 million because of its near-perfect condition and extremely rare error. That's the kind of money that could buy a house, a luxury car, or, let's be real, about 140 million regular pennies. Look for the D mint mark. If there's no D, it's from a different mint and not part of this rare batch. Get a magnifying glass and look for doubling on Lincoln's face, the date, or lettering. Even slight imperfections can be valuable. A penny in mint condition, MS65 or higher, is worth the most. Scratched up, pocket-worn pennies won't hit that $1 million mark, but they could still be worth hundreds or even thousands to get it certified. If you think you've struck gold, or copper, in this case, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. Now, you might be wondering, why would someone pay over $1 million for a penny? Simple, coin collectors are obsessed with rare finds. It's like sports cards, vintage cars, or fine art. When something is unique and hard to get, the price skyrockets. Let's put it in perspective. Imagine you're at a yard sale and spot an original Spider-Man comic from the 1960s. It looks just like any other comic, but to the right collector, it's worth a fortune. That's how these pennies work. They blend in with regular change, but the right one? Pure gold, well, copper, but you get the point. That little 2017 D Lincoln penny in your pocket could be the key to an early retirement. And hey, even if you don't find the $1 million one, you might still come across a valuable penny worth a few hundred or even a few $1,000s. Before you go, make sure to subscribe because I've got plenty more videos coming on rare coins that could be hiding right under your nose. Hit that like button, drop a comment if you've ever found a valuable coin, and share this video with someone who needs to start checking their pocket change. Alright, I'm off to dig through my own coin collection again. Who knows? Maybe next time I'll be telling you about the next big $1 million penny. Alright, folks, let's talk about pennies specifically, the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. You know, that little copper coin you probably have sitting in a jar, under your couch, or maybe even in the depths of your car's cup holder, covered in dust and old coffee spills. But what if I told you that one of those pennies could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.50 million? Hold up, a penny. Worth that much? And yes, it's real, and today, I'm going to break down exactly why this penny is so valuable, how to identify if you have one, and what you can do if you strike it rich. So, grab your piggy bank, because we're about to go on a treasure hunt. Big hair, neon colors, and the golden age of arcade games. But while everyone else was busy playing Pac-Man, the US Mint accidentally made a mistake that would change coin collecting history. Most pennies from 1988 were made in Philadelphia or Denver, and they'd have a little P or D mint mark under the date. But some were struck without a mint mark, which makes them incredibly rare. The real kicker? It wasn't just the missing mint mark, it's the transition between the 1988 and 1989 design that makes this penny stand out. See, in 1989, the mint updated the font style on the initials FG, which stands for Frank Gasparo, the coin's designer. Some 1988 pennies were accidentally made with the newer 1989 die, creating a super rare variety. Collectors love errors like this, and because only a handful of these pennies exist, demand has skyrocketed. One lucky collector recently sold one at auction for $1.50 million. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but how do I know if I've got one of these bad boys? Well, it's actually pretty simple. This is the big one. Use a magnifying glass and check the initials on the right side of the Lincoln Memorial. If the font looks different from regular 1988 pennies, you might have struck gold, air, copper. If you're unsure, take it to a coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll be able to authenticate it and tell you if you're about to become a millionaire. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was digging through some old pennies, thinking I might find a cool error coin. My buddy laughed at me, saying, "Dude, you're wasting your time. It's just a penny." I found an older wheat penny worth a couple $100 at a local flea market. Not life-changing, but hey, that's a solid dinner and a tank of gas. The point? You never know what you'll find until you check. That's why I tell everyone, take 5 minutes and check your change. You could be sitting on a $1.5 million treasure without even knowing it. Your spare change isn't just spare change. It could be life-changing. That old coin jar? It might be worth more than your car, and if you love learning about hidden treasures in your pocket, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll keep bringing you the best tips on valuable coins, collecting strategies, and how to make money from what's literally in your pocket. And before you go, do me a favor. Check your couch, your drawers, your old piggy banks. Who knows? You might just find that $1.5 million penny. If you do, don't forget who told you first. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Have you ever picked up a penny and thought, could this tiny copper coin actually be worth a fortune? Well, today, we're diving into a small but mighty piece of history, the 1960 D Lincoln penny, a coin that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny that's worth more than a house, a luxury car, or even a lifetime supply of pizza. Now, before you start emptying your piggy banks and flipping over couch cushions, let me tell you exactly what makes this coin so valuable. And stick around to the end, because I'll share a personal story about how I almost tossed away a valuable coin without even knowing it. Don't make the same mistake. The history behind the 1960 D Lincoln penny. First things first, let's talk history. This penny was minted in Denver, as shown by the little D mint mark below the date. Now, 1960 was a crazy year. Elvis was rocking the charts, the first laser was invented, yeah, that's a thing, and the US Mint was busy cranking out pennies, including one of the most valuable errors ever. This brings us to why this penny is worth a fortune. There's a rare variety known as the 1960 D small date penny, and if you have one, congratulations, you might just be sitting on a goldmine now. Here's where things get interesting. In 1960, the US Mint made two versions of the penny. This is the more common version, and sadly, not worth much. This is the rare one, the holy grail of 1960 pennies. The easiest way to tell the difference is by looking at the zero in the date. On the small date version, the zero is higher and thinner, while on the large date, it's lower and rounder. If you're unsure, grab a magnifying glass, or better yet, take a picture and zoom in. If you find a small date, don't get too excited yet, we still need to check for another key detail, alright? This is where things get really wild. Some 1960 D small date pennies were struck over a 1959 die, creating a double date effect. That's right, if you look closely, you might see remnants of a 1959 date underneath the 1960. This rare overdate error is what drives the price sky high. A regular small date penny might be worth a few $100s, but one with this error? That's where we get into the millions. A small date 1960D can range from $50 to $5,000, depending on its condition. The 1960D small date overdate error can go for up to $1.6 million in top condition, and no, that's not some made up number. One of these sold at auction for an insane amount because of its rarity and pristine condition. So, if you find one, you might want to handle it like it's made of glass. Look for the D mint mark below the date. No D? Sorry, wrong penny. If the zero is higher and skinnier, congrats, you're still in the game. This is the big one. Use a magnifier to see if there's a faint 1959 underneath 1960. If you spot it, you're holding a potential $1 million coin, and remember, even if you're not sure, it's always worth getting a second opinion. Coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate your find. Okay, confession time. A few years ago, I was rolling up some spare change to cash in at the bank. You know, because I was broke and craving some fast food. Anyway, I had this one penny that looked kinda weird, but I figured, meh, it's just a penny. I was this close to tossing it into the Coinstar machine when something told me to double check. I pulled out my phone, did a quick Google search, and boom, turns out I had an error penny worth $400. Not quite $1 million, but hey, that's a lot of burgers and fries. You never know when you might be holding a hidden fortune in the palm of your hand. Your cultoactionso, now that you know the secrets of the 1960D Lincoln penny, it's time to take action. Check your coin jars, wallets, and even those pennies you tossed in the junk drawer. Look for the small date and overdate error. If you find one, get it checked and graded. It could be worth life-changing money. And hey, if you love learning about valuable coins, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I drop videos on rare coins, hidden treasures, and money-making tips that you don't want to miss. Also, hit that like button if you found this video helpful. It really helps the channel grow. And before you go, let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? You never know, someone might have $1 million coin just sitting in their pocket right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about a penny that could literally change your life. Imagine digging through your couch cushions, finding a penny, and then realizing, bam! It's worth $1.7 million. That's right, $1.7 million for a tiny, copper coin. Sounds crazy, right? Well, stick around, because I'm going to break down exactly why this 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is so valuable, how you can spot one, and who knows? Maybe by the end of this video, you'll be racing to check your piggy bank, but before we get into that, if you love money, especially making it, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll be bringing you more wild stories about rare coins that could be hiding in your change jar. Alright, let's dive in. So, what makes the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny such a big deal? To answer that, we need a little history lesson. Don't worry, I promise to keep it interesting. Back in 1982, the US Mint was going through a bit of a midlife crisis. Copper was getting expensive, and pennies were costing more to make than they were actually worth. Talk about irony, right? So, the mint decided to switch from solid copper pennies to a cheaper copper-plated zinc composition. But, as with any major transition, things got messy. Now, the key detail here is that in 1982, there were 7 different varieties of pennies produced. Yes, 7. Some were copper, some were zinc, some had a small date, some had a large date, and they were made in different mints. But the rarest of them all? The 1982 no-mint mark copper penny, the one that's now worth $1.70 million. First, check the date. If it says 1982 and there's no mint mark under the date, you're off to a good start. Second, you need to figure out if it's made of copper or zinc. Here's an easy trick: weigh it. Copper pennies weigh 3.11 grams, while the newer zinc ones weigh 2.5 grams. If your 1982 no-mint mark penny is the heavier one, congratulations, you just hit the jackpot. And the answer is yes. There have been reports of lucky collectors stumbling upon these rare pennies in old coin jars, inherited collections, and even pocket change. A few months ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He had this old coffee can full of pennies, like, I'm talking pennies for days. Jokingly, I said, hey, maybe we'll find one of those $1 million pennies in here. We laughed until we actually found a 1982 no-mint mark penny. Our hearts nearly jumped out of our chests. Unfortunately, when we weighed it, it was one of the common zinc ones worth a whopping 1 cent. But hey, for about 30 seconds, we thought we were millionaires. Moral of the story? Check your pennies. It all comes down to rarity. The US Mint never officially recorded making any copper 1982 no-mint mark pennies, which means the ones that exist are likely accidental strikes, a huge deal in the coin collecting world. These are basically the unicorns of pennies. Now, if you think you have one, don't spend it. Seriously, don't buy a bag of chips with it. Instead, get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. If they confirm it's legit, you could be looking at a massive payday. The 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a tiny coin with $1 million price tag. The big question is, do you have one? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever found a rare coin? Or do you have a stash of pennies just waiting to be checked? Let me know, and before you go, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more tips on spotting valuable coins. Who knows? The next video might just help you find a coin that could change your life. Alright, folks, imagine this: you're digging through your couch cushions, looking for some spare change for a coffee. You pull out a few pennies, and suddenly, boom! You're holding onto a little copper coin that could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, or even fund your early retirement. Sounds crazy, right? Well, let me tell you, it's not as far-fetched as it seems. Because today, we're talking about one of the most shocking and valuable coins out there, the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, worth a jaw-dropping $1.80 million. So, if you've ever thought pennies are just worthless pocket change, think again. Stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll be running to check your coin jars. Let's dive in. First off, let's talk about what makes this penny so special. Normally, in 1968, pennies minted in Philadelphia didn't have a mint mark. But here's the twist: some of these pennies were struck with an ultra-rare error, a mistake that makes collectors go absolutely crazy. This particular no-mint mark penny isn't just any old coin. It's a rare variety that was struck using a special die, and only a handful are known to exist. That's why they fetch millions at auctions. Now, before you get too excited, let's break down what you need to look for if you think you might have one. It should clearly say 1968, and right below the date, there should be NO or D mint mark. If you see a tiny letter under the date, sorry, but that's not the $1 million coin. Not if your penny still has that shiny coppery look. Congratulations. The more red and uncirculated it appears, the higher its value. Real 1968 pennies should weigh about 3.11 grams because they're made of 95% copper. If you have a scale, it's worth checking. Some of these valuable 1968 pennies have what's called a double die error, meaning the lettering and numbers might look slightly doubled. That's like finding a bonus prize within an already rare coin. Now, you might be thinking, why would someone pay nearly $2 million for a penny? Collectors love unique coins, and when only a few exist in the world, the price skyrockets. Condition matters, and if you've got a near-perfect example, that's where the big money is. A fun fact: the last time one of these rare 1968 no-mint mark pennies was sold, it went for $1.8 million. That's more than most people's houses. My own coin hunting fail now. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I got super obsessed with looking for rare pennies. I grabbed all my old coin jars, flipped over the couch cushions, even asked my grandma if she had any old pennies lying around. One night, after hours of searching, I finally found a 1968 penny with no mint mark. I was jumping up and down like I just won the lottery. Then I took it to a coin expert, feeling like a millionaire already. And guess what? It was just a regular 1968 penny. Worth about 1 cent. Talk about heartbreak, but hey, that's the fun of coin collecting. You never know when you might actually strike gold, or in this case, copper. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, we've covered a lot today. The 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is worth $1.8 million, and it could be hiding in your pocket change. So, here's what you need to do: go check your pennies. Look for that 1968 date, make sure there's no mint mark, and if you think you've got something special, get it checked by a professional. And hey, if you love finding coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips and strategies coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. Who knows? The next millionaire coin could be sitting in your piggy bank right now.